All right, we're at a minute past the hour, so we're going to go ahead and get started. You are tuned into Nobility's Be a Digital Ally, and today we are doing a presentation on tools and techniques of a blind accessibility auditor. First, a little bit about Nobility. Welcome to Be a Digital Ally. The goals of Be a Digital Ally is to cover the basic skills and principles behind accessible digital design. We do a different topic each month for about an hour, and to make digital content accessible to people with disabilities. Our audience is generally content creators of any skill level, especially those newer to accessibility. We thank you for letting us be a part of your journey, and we always strive to create inclusive and accessible spaces. So we ask everybody to be kind, polite, and respectful throughout this presentation, and we strive to ensure accessibility. Nobility was founded in 1999. We're a 501c3 nonprofit based in Austin, Texas, and operate globally around the world. Our mission is to create an inclusive digital world for people with disabilities. We do that through several community programs. One's ongoing right now called the Accessibility Internet Rally, or what we affectionately call AIR. We bring together web developers who want to learn accessibility techniques for websites and pair them up with nonprofits who need websites. And it's an 8-week long competition. We're almost 4 weeks in, and we'll be announcing the awards in January. Access U is our annual conference that happens in May. I'll tell you a little bit more after this presentation about what's upcoming in 2026. Access Works is a program that we operate working with people with disabilities who do user testing for pay and at good rates. And if anybody's interested, they should reach out to us after this program. K-12 digital accessibility, we bring in or bring content and programs related to parents, teachers, and anybody involved in K-12 education. And finally, this program, Be a Digital Ally. We also have some services that help us fund the program work that we do. So we do accessibility testing and auditing of websites and smart apps. We can also come in and work with organizations and corporations on their leadership and strategic consulting and provide strategic consulting on how to build internal accessibility programs. We can put together training programs. We have some that are already built, and sometimes we build ones that are specific to the needs of our clients. I've already talked briefly about Access Works, but it's also one of our service side of things. And then we also have an accessibility help desk where organizations and corporations may purchase hours and set up for some assistance on anything you're dealing with related to accessibility. Okay, a little housekeeping for this program. You can ask your questions anytime in the Q&A. The Q&A is in a menu item at the bottom of your screen. It's a little different on the smartphone and tablets. You may ask in person. If you'd like to ask a question in person, you may raise your hand. You could also put in the Q&A that your question and that you'd like to do that, and we'll call on you. You may also type in the chat, but we'd prefer the Q&A as much as possible because I understand there are still some accessibility issues related to the chat for some folks. At this point, I would like to bring you to introduce to you Janine Lineback, who has years and years of accessibility training, testing, and previously served as president of the local chapter here of the National Federation for the Blind and has been involved with the NFB for quite some time. So Janine, I'm going to let you take it away.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? I hope so.
We can. So go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started here. All right, we're just about there.
More options for participants drop-down button.
Can you see my screen, Mark?
The video thumbnails are minimized to optimize for video sharing
We
alert.
can see and hear.
Oh, bueno.
You have stopped, Mark.
Hey, everybody. My name is Janine, as Mark
Participants can now see.
said. I'm going to be demoing how you would test with a screen reader, and I'm going to talk some about that a little bit. I gave Mark a handout that I actually updated just before this meeting, so I sent him a new copy. So if you haven't received that yet, you will, with the just some notes and the websites that I'm looking at and a few additional resources. That there's a lot more out there than what I put in
Pavel has joined the meeting.
the document. So as Mark said, I've been doing this for way too many years to count, so I won't. I started as an assistive technology trainer back in the way day, and I moved on into accessibility testing and auditing. My first experience with this was in 2007 with testing and auditing. So that gives you a framework of time. That's as much
I
as I'll
vote
say
3.
about that. We're going to go ahead and get into the actual
Psoriasis.
testing. If you have questions, this is very interactive. I really want people to ask, so I'll be
Psoriasis.
stopping periodically as long as we don't run too close to time, because showing some of these in live demos, it takes its time, right? So, as much as I can, I will stop for questions. All right, so I'm going to start off by just talking about the three different kinds of screen readers.
Presentation notes.txt. Presentation notes.txt. Screen
And
sharing meeting controls row 1 column 2.
there
Screen sharing
are
meeting controls window.
three
Presentation
for
note web aim. Web
Windows,
accessibility
or
and mind.
for two
Google Chrome
for
column 3 web aim.
Windows that we primarily use for testing. The first is NVDA, which stands for non-visual desktop access. So if you didn't understand the four letters when I said them so quickly, NVDA, not NVIDIA, but NVDA. That screen reader is primarily used for testing and auditing by developers and auditors because it is free. It is also out of the box one of the more, how shall we say, not adding a lot of extra stuff, which would enable disguising developer flaws. So a lot of the other screen
Christopher
readers,
Chao has
no diss to them, they're trying to help the end user. We understand that. But they do have things turned on that you may have to go in and turn off to test more effectively to make sure that you're actually getting accurate results. So the other two screen readers, and these are well, the NVDA is for Windows, as I mentioned, and we use Google Chrome or
Corey Johnson has joined.
Microsoft Edge browsers to test with those. You can use either. Chrome is recommended by
Andrew has joined.
NVDA, but either works. I've used both. And sometimes we're in environments where we have to, the developer tells us, hey, we work within this particular environment. So that's what we do. And the third screen reader, or the second, is JAWS, JAWS, and it stands for Job Access with Speech. JAWS is an awesome screen reader. It's used primarily in business and enterprise environments. However, a lot of home end users don't often own it. Therefore, they often use the first screen reader I mentioned. As a fun tip or fact, just this year, finally, NVDA, which is free, became the #1 screen reader being used by the blind and visually impaired. That was a study, I believe, done by WebAIM. It might have been done by the International Association of Accessibility Professionals, but I think it was WebAIM. Either way, they both are equally quality screen readers. They have equal quality. They have different things they do better. They both contain some AI features. However, in NVDA, those AI features are not turned on by default. In JAWS, they aren't fully turned on by default, but JAWS does some interesting things. So, for example, there are some deprecated tags in HTML, as I'm sure most of you who are developers may be aware. And JAWS will do things like allow those tags to be recognized as valid code and thereby read them. So, like a title tag, and it will go ahead and use that. And I know that's been undeprecated, but there was a time when it was deprecated, then it came back. I don't know where it stands now, but you get the point. JAWS is very expensive. It is not free. It costs over $1,000. They've just changed the pricing scheme, and I could not for the life of me explain it. So feel free to use the link I provided in the handout to go read about that if you are interested in purchasing it or your company's interested in purchasing it. Great. Um, but a lot of developers just go ahead and use the NVDA because it's a free download and the link is there in your handout. The third screen reader is VoiceOver, and VoiceOver is used on Mac OS and iOS, so your operating systems from Apple. You can also test with Android screen reader called Talks, but I did not include that here because most testing is not done that way. Most people are going to look and test an app or a website through Windows or through an Apple device, whether it be a Mac or an iOS device. So, having said all that, I'm going to, as quickly as possible, try to give you an idea of how screen readers work, and then I'm going to take a break before we do any setup. So, first off, screen readers, you might wonder, well, how in the world do they give you the information? If you're not blind and you've never used one, it seems pretty amazing. The truth is, they look at the code as much as they can, but they use a buffer, so there is some delay. So they see the code, they grab the code, they put it in a buffer, and they spit it out to us. And how you develop that code makes a difference in how it's received by the buffer and then how it's spoken to us. So that's really important to keep in mind. I'm not reading what's actually physically visible on the screen in the way that you are. So you could think of it as, reaching into the candy bag, not
Random
knowing
Pierce has
what you're
joined.
going to get, and you get what you get. And if you don't know anything about looking at source code, you could be lost in some cases. Trust me. Um, it happens. So it's really important. The more you can use semantic HTML, the better it is for the screen reader user and most people, honestly. I'm sure you guys are familiar with CSS, putting your style sheets, putting things related to style in there is really important. Screen readers rely on that kind of stuff because the HTML is used for structure. The style is supposed to be in the style sheet as much as possible. We also have ARIA, application rich, oh, what is it called? Accessible rich internet applications. Anyway, you get the point. I'm sure you know what ARIA is, even if you've never used it. You probably heard the word, not from Game of Thrones. um, she was, yeah, a character. Anyway, um, the way a screen reader reads to a blind person, it reads from top to bottom and left to right. So think about that for a minute. You can see the whole screen or a big chunk of the screen, I guess, depending on how much is on your screen and how crowded your windows are. And maybe you have 3 screens going at once. I don't know. Some people do. Um, but a screen reader user can only hear one thing at a time. If you're on Zoom with a screen reader user and Mark starts talking to me right now, I can't hear my screen reader because I'm hearing Mark, or I can't hear Mark because I'm hearing my screen reader. I'm ignoring Mark. So I can only hear one thing at a time, but it also only reads one line at a time or one word at a time. So there are different ways to navigate, but the important thing to remember is the way you order things on a website makes a difference and doing it with HTML logically as much as possible is important. So we're going to try to demo some of that stuff soon. There's two different modes that a screen reader can be put in. For NVDA, we call those browse mode and edit mode. And when you load a website, you're automatically in browse mode, which allows the screen reader user to do several things. One is they
Noel has joined the
can
meeting.
tab through the website, which might take a long
Whitney Hill
time,
has
like if you're on the HEB website that I'm going to show you in a minute. Or you could use what's called quick navigation keys, which allows a screen reader user to jump to things like headings, landmarks, images, buttons, form controls, edit fields, all kinds of stuff. We'll demonstrate a bit of that
Whitney
as
Hill has
well. And you can also arrow. And this is why logical order has some play in this, because when you force the focus, and sometimes I understand it's necessary to do so, but as much as you can stick to semantic HTML and not do that, it's really helpful, because I can't arrow through things and find where I am if I need to read
Tamers 8 has
something around an area where I have tab to. So in other words, you forced the keyboard focus, say, to go one place, but if I arrow, I'm somewhere else. Well, I don't know where that tab is. I have to look all over the page. I may or may not ever find it. So without deliberating that point, just think about that, because I'm sure when you're looking with your eyes and you want to find something in HEB to buy, it makes a difference if you can or can't find it or how
Bob's iPhone
quickly.
has
Um, so now I want to talk just a little bit about, let me see here. I want to make sure I
screen
cover
sharing meeting controls row 1 column
the
2.
most
Presentation notes top
important
text. Unique titles
things
for pages.
that I wanted to
Check for all
do
text which is
for
text that describes unique
this.
NVD how a screen read blank. How a screen reader reads text.
Yeah, we got
NVDA
that.
setup. Vision
So
check hot.
we're going to do a bit of questions. Mark, are there any questions?
Currently, I don't have any questions
Okay,
showing.
go ahead then. Let's move forward. So I'm going to do a little bit of screen reader setup. Now, if you're blind, I know I heard a couple of my friends' names in there, so I'm not going to say any, but I know there are some out there. And you're testing with a sighted person, you're going to want to go into, well, and if you're sighted, you're going to want to do this too. You're going to want to go into the NVDA menus, which you can do by pressing the insert key and the N, letter N as in Nancy key. So these, you use the screen reader by implementing a series of keyboard combinations. A keyboard user is also a screen reader user, and 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be using a mouse. I say it that way because there is a function that allows people using screen readers to do some things to try to simulate a mouse, but it's pretty hit and miss. I'll just put it that way. It's a little bit better with NVDA in my opinion, but I would still say it's not an ideal thing, and it wouldn't pass WCAG anyway. You still need the screen reader to be able to uh, work with the keyboard and have the keyboard work with your site or your app. So I'm going to go into the NVDA
NVDA menu.
menus, and we've got
Preferences submenu. P.
preferences. We're going to go into
Settings.
preferences. We're
S.
going to go to settings.
Speech dictionary. Settings. N.
Then
General list item focus selected 1 of 18.
we're going to
Speech 2
go
of 18.
to vision.
Audio list item 4 of 18. Speech 2 of 18. Braille 3 of 18. Audio 4 of 18. Vision 5 of 18.
I lost speech there for a minute.
Vision list item
I
focus
don't know
selected 5 of
why.
18. Vision property page configure visual aids.
Okay, so
Visual
it
highlight grouping.
says
Enable highlighting checkbox check
configure
alt plus.
visual aids. Now you can see that I've already checked this because I was testing it. And it won't be checked by default. So you install NVDA, it won't be on automatically. All right. You want to check this because this allows NVDA to track the focus visually. Otherwise, you can't see where I am. Ask Mark when we tested it last week. If it's not on, you don't know where you are if you are sighted, and your friend who's sighted that you might be working with would not know where you are. So turn this on. It will automatically turn on these other two cursors.
Highlight system focus checkbox checked Alt plus.
That's the system focus, which we just talked about. That's the one that's tracking where the keyboard user can go when you're tabbing, for example.
Highlight navigator object checkbox checked Alt plus.
And then highlight navigator object. That one you're probably not going to worry about unless you get really advanced at using NVDA, but it's a great little feature of NVDA if you are an actual screen reader user or you become a developer who says, hey, I'm really into this. All right, so we're just
highlight browse mode cursor checkbox checked Alt plus.
This is really the only thing. Okay,
highlight browse mode cursor checkbox focus checked Alt plus.
Browse mode.
Highlight browse mode cursor checkbox focus checked Alt plus.
Mode cursor. Sorry, I can't speak. Got a little tongue tied there. Anyway, you do want it. That will automatically be checked when you check that first one. So all of these right here, they automatically get checked when you check that first one. And some of them are already checked anyway, and that's fine. The only one that won't be checked that you need to check is that first highlight. That's important.
Screen curtain grouping. REI has left the meeting alert. Mix Jennifer.Perkins has left the meeting alert. Always show a warning when loading screen curtain. Make screen black. Immediate effect. Check. Always show a warning when loading screen curtain.
You don't want to make your screen black if you want to be able to see what you're doing.
Always show a warning when loading screen. Play sound when toggling screen. OK button.
And we're not going to turn on the screen
OK button
curtain, so we're good.
Presentation notes.txt.
Just stop there. Now, I didn't have to change anything because I had already changed it, but I just wanted you to see where that is, because if you're sighted and you're using this to see if you can test with a screen reader and tell how your website's working or possibly not working well, then you definitely want that highlight on.
GJ has joined the meeting.
There's one other thing I want to show you in the NVDA tools.
NVDA menu.
And that
Preferences submenu. Tool submenu. T. View log. L. Speech viewer. F.
This is called speech viewer. I'm not going to turn it on, but I'm going to tell you what it does, and I'm going to tell you what best practice would be. So the speech viewer allows a window to pop up, and it allows you to see whatever's being spoken by the screen reader in that window. That's good if you're having trouble understanding it, or you're trying to get used to it, or you want to copy and paste something into a report because you forgot what the screen reader said, or whatever. However, I give you a strong warning. A is just like a big slog of run-on text. So keep that in mind.
Jenny Chen has joined.
It's easy to copy and paste from.
Jenny Chen has.
But it doesn't always catch everything. There are some tricks to when ARIA is used. You're not going to get those messages necessarily. If it's off screen, sometimes things don't end up in the buffer for the speech viewer. So there's some, I guess you'd say, caveats to using it. One of the things I do like to use it for is copying source code when I need to put some in a report, because I find it difficult to copy it in the DOM, in the developer toolbar, whatever. And so sometimes I will use it for that. But I would tell you, just be cautious in your use of it. Make sure that you're not relying on that to understand and test for your screen reader accuracy. All right.
Speech viewer menu item focused.
So we're going to close this.
Presentation notes.txt. Jim Bauer
actually
text editor edit focus multi-line NVDA unique titles for pages. NVDA setup. Vision check highlight. Unique titles for pages.
All right, so I'm going to start demoing now, and the first page we're going to work with
web accessibility in mind. WebAIM.
If you hear me delay occasionally, it's because people are joining and leaving and joining, and that's fine. Don't stop doing whatever you're doing. But I'm getting every one of those alerts for whatever reason. I didn't turn it off, so it's a little annoying.
No next table. Skip to main content link focus link same page. WebAIM. Web accessibility in mind.
All right, so the first page we're going to look at.
System menu. WebAIM. Web accessibility.
Can everybody see that screen, the webaim.org?
We can now. You made it full screen.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so. All right. So, thank you, Mark. Are there any questions before I get started? Just quick.
So for let's see, is using the read out loud better for PDF documents with testing, or do you recommend testing with the screen reader with PDFs?
Test with a screen reader. Read out loud does not count as a full screen reader.
GJ has left the meeting alert.
I hope
That,
that answers your question.
that's what we have at the moment.
All right. Thank you for the question. If you want more information on that, I suggest you go to the nvda.org. Well, it's nvaccess.org site, and they can give you a full explanation there why it matters.
WebAIM, web accessibility in mind.
All
Link
right.
focus.
So the first thing it's important to do is make sure your page has a title, because it's how we orient ourselves. Not just me as a person with a screen reader, but you and everybody else in the world. If you have a page that's Johnny's Dough Shop, we're talking DOUGH here for, bread dough. Then you want, your page to be titled that so people know they're there.
WebAIM, web accessibility in mind. Google Chrome.
So there you go. This one says WebAIM, web accessibility in mind. And if this is this too fast for anybody? I can slow the speech down. I didn't. This is just a little slower than what I normally use, but not much. So if you have trouble understanding, let Mark know in the Q&A, or raise your hand or something, because otherwise I'm going to keep it flying. All right.
WebAIM, web accessibility in mind. Link focus. Visited link. Same page.
So the first thing is that to make sure you have a title that is representative and the name of your page and such.
Navigation landmark.
So
Heading level
we're
2. Heading level
in
2. Visited same page. Link. Graphic WebAIM.
browse
Same page link.
mode. And up the top here, we can see we have a same page visited link.
WebAIM, web access. Heading level. Same page link. Skip. Same page link. Grant Nilsson has left the meeting alert. Same page link. Skip to main content.
It's basically a skip to content, but I've been there before, so it tells me it's been visited. So you could use this to go to the main part of the page. Skip to links are not required, but they are useful if they go to the main part of the page. What I distress over is when I have a skip to link that A is broken, which is a problem, or B goes to some, I don't know, list of news articles that really isn't the main content. That drives me nuts. Now, if you're CNN, maybe it is, but if you're not CNN, probably it isn't. All right, so I'm going to show you first that you can simply arrow.
Heading level 2. Visited same page link. Graphic WebAIM. Web navigation landmark. Heading level 2. Main
Down
navigation.
the page, that was a landmark. You might have heard it say. So in a slightly lower voice, it will announce the type of control it has fallen on. In that case, it was a landmark, and it read what
list
it
with
was.
5 items visited link. Services.
Then it said list of 5 items and services link.
Articles.
And now we're in the list, so it's just reading the names of the different services in the list.
Link. Resources.
And it's telling me when they're visited. So I've been to these before. That's why you're hearing the word visited in front of them.
Link. Projects. Link. Community. Out of list search landmark.
Yes.
I was asked if you could please show us how you access the accessibility tree and navigate through it using NVDA.
I will try to do that before we end here, but I want to cover some basics first for people who are not familiar with screen readers.
Fair.
Because that can take some time. It's how shall I say? It's trickier than it should be. I would say it's almost sometimes a little easier in Microsoft Edge, but that's not necessarily true. I think it may just be how I feel about it. Anyway, so you can arrow through the page like I'm doing, and you can be pretty much assured that if I tab, I'm going to get the same information. So I could tab through these links.
Navigation landmark list with 5 items. Community. Link.
So you heard it say navigation list of 5 items, community link, projects,
resources.
I'm just tabbing.
Articles.
Well, I'm actually shift tabbing because I'm going backwards.
Services. Visited link.
And back at the top here, it says services.
Web aim. Web accessibility. Navigation. Articles.
So
Resources.
now I'm back
Projects.
tabbing
Community.
forward.
Link. Search
Now, did you hear that? If you didn't, I'm so sorry. It happened. I landed in what's called edit mode. So I know I must be in some place I can either make a selection. In other words, it's interactive. I've landed in an application area or a form field.
Search. Edit focus.
Oh, guess what? It's a search edit. So yeah, I could type in here and search. So I told you there were two modes. There's edit mode, which is now what has been automatically turned on in the screen reader by landing in this field. So the developer coded this correctly. And so when I landed in the edit field, it automatically turned on the application. The edit on application, the edit mode. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. So I could type in here, I want to search for, I don't know, whatever I want to search for. And then I would, tap to submit or hit enter or whatever the process is. Now, let's say I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to hit escape, which allows me to go back to browse mode, even though I'm still focused on the edit field. It doesn't matter. I've turned that feature off. So now if I type, nothing's going to happen with that edit field. If I hit a letter that moves me somewhere, because it's what we call a quick navigation key, which is what I'm about to show you, then I'm going to go somewhere else on the page because it will now pass that key to the screen reader and say, whatever you're supposed to do when this person hits H, go do it, which happens to be moving to a heading. So I'm going to hit an
main
H.
landmark. We have web accessibility in mind. Heading level 1.
So heading level 1, we have web accessibility in mind. That makes sense to me as a heading level 1.
Expanding the potential of the web for people with disabilities by empowering individuals and
now I'm going
landmarks.
to pick another type of quick nav key, which would be a G.
Web aim. Web accessibility in mind. Graphic visited same page link heading level 2.
And that gave me the graphic for their website.
No next graphic.
And that's the
No
only
previous graphic.
one it's finding on here. So that's
same page link.
I think
Skip to main
accurate. However, if I really want to know, I can pull up a list of all the elements with the insert key and F7.
Elements list dialog. Tree view.
It said elements list dialog tree view.
Skip to main content. Same page tree view item focus. Skip to main content. Web aim. Web accessibility in mind. Skip to main content. Same page 1 of 4.
So
web aim. Web accessibility in mind. Visited same page 2 of 42. Services. Visited 3 of 42 level. Articles 4 of 42 level 0. Resources. Visited 5 of 42 level 0. Project 6 of 4. Type.
Now,
Grouping.
if I want to
Links radio button
change
check alt plus.
what I'm looking at, instead of links, I
Landmarks radio button check alt plus.
Let's say I want to know how many landmarks are on this page, because sometimes developers have decided to use landmarks instead of headings or in combination with headings.
Tree view. Banner expanded 1 of 3 level 0.
So we've got banner.
Level 1 navigation 1 of 2.
Navigation.
Search 2 of 2 level 1.
And it tells me what level they're at. That's important as
level
well.
0 main 2 of 3. Content info 3 of 3 level 0. Main 2 of 3 level 0.
So see, I see main there.
Content info 3 of 3 level 0.
So that tells me that's where the main navigation bar
Content info 3 of 3. Main 2 of 3 level 0. Filter by. Edit alt plus. Y. Move to button alt plus.
Filter by. You can move to. So you can pick one of these and move to it. I'll just
main
go
landmark.
to the main
We have web
landmark.
accessibility in mind.
So that went to the exact area, which was the heading level 1 we saw earlier. All right. So that's some of
Justin has
your
left the meet.
basic navigation stuff that's like super, super basic. If you've used a screen reader for a long time, most of us know these things. If you haven't, you're a developer or you're just new to accessibility testing, maybe you don't know these things, and that's why we cover them.
Out of list. Expanding the potential of the web for people with disabilities by empowering individuals and.
So now I'm going to get into a little bit more complex
Organizations to create accessible content.
Stuff.
Heading level 2 link. Accessible. Web aim can provide web, document, Zoom, and strategic accessibility training to fit your needs. Heading level 2 link. Need assistance implementing accessibility. Here. Heading level 2 link. Accessibility in procurement. Banner landmark. Heading level. Navigation landmark. Heading level 2. Main navigation. List with 5 items.
I'm using
Visited link.
You know, I was calling them quick navigation keys because that's initially what they named them. But then when Apple came and started changing on the Mac to calling those quick nav keys, I believe people now tend to call these screen reader hotkeys or short keys. I've heard them called all kinds of things, but they were originally called quick navigation keys. And I'm old school, as you already know. So
Link. Articles.
kind of stuck. Okay, I'm going to go into articles
Web aim.
here.
Articles. Banner.
So I just pressed enter on that link. Now
Web aim. Web accessibility in Mind Graphic visited link heading level 2.
I'm gonna
No previous heading. Navigation landmark. Main navigation. Heading level 2. Main landmark. Articles. Heading.
Okay, main landmark articles.
You are here. Heading level 2. The user's perspective. List with 5 items. Out of list heading level 2. The user's perspective. List with 5 items. Busterda has left the meeting alert. Bullet. Link. Const bullet. Link. Introduction to web accessibility.
Okay, we're just going to open up Introduction to Web Accessibility and let you hear a little.
Web aim. Articles document focused read only. Bullet. Link. Constructing a pour. Bullet. Link. Introduction to web accessibility. Web aim. Introduction to web accessibility. Banner landmark same page link. Skip to main content. Heading level 2 visited link graphic web aim. Navigation landmark. Main navigation. Heading level 2. Main landmark. Introduction to web accessibility. You are here. Visited link. Home grader. Visited link. Articles grader introduction to web accessibility. Navigation landmark heading level 2. Article contents. List with 5 items. Black square. Same page link. Introduction. Black square. Same page link. People with disabilities on the web. Black square. Same page link. Implementing web accessibility.
See how it's even telling me that there are black squares in front of each one of these? That's excellent. I don't necessarily need to know that's one of the issues that we wouldn't. I mean, it's not a failure of WCAG or anything, but you know, some people would consider that too much information. Like it's kind of decorative whether there's a black square there or not. The main thing that it does give me is that it's a link, and
Black
I
square.
can go
Same
there
page link. People with
and
disabilities on
that
the web.
it's actually on this page. So if I went and
Introduction.
moved by
Heading level 2.
heading like that, I just hit the letter H. I got to the introduction.
Most of us can hardly conceive of life without the internet. Some have argued that no other single invention has been more revolutionary since Gutenberg's printing press in the 1400s. The world can be at your fingertips at the click of a mouse if you can use a mouse and see the screen and hear the audio.
Now I just let that read that whole little thing all at once, but I could read by word, I could read by character, I could read by a whole lot of different ways. I could do phonetics, so forth and so on. That's just a little chunk of text so you can see what it would be like. That's important because when you try to put a message, say an aria, to describe an image or to give some footnote off screen, and it's a long, drawn out piece of stuff, I have to hear that all at once and try to understand it and put it into context. And guess what? I also can't review it because it's not visible on the screen anywhere. It's just out there. You know, it's just being passed to the screen reader. So once it's spoken, and I either have to go and do the action again to make it launch the aria, or I'm out of luck. So remember that when you're trying to use things like aria, because it can make it more difficult than helpful.
Invention has been more revolutionary since Gutenberg's printing press in the 1400s.
So I'm going to go ahead and go back
Web aim.
to...
Be at your fingertips at the click of a mouse if you can use a... Unknown defunct. Out of main landmark blank. 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 Web aim. Web accessibility in Mind document. Resources link. Link. Project visited link. Resources. Visited link. Out of list same page link. Skip to main content. Heading level 2 visited same page link graphic web aim.
I'm going to go back to their main
web aim. Web accessibility banner landmark nav list with 5 items visited link. Service.
All right. So
presentation notes.txt. Notepad check for all text which is text that describes the images and graphics on the page. Unique titles for page check for all text which is text that describes.
So we looked at the graphics.
Web accessibility.
Go back to this. I want to pick out this
next
graphic.
Web aim. Web accessibility in Mind graphic visited same page link heading level 2.
So this one is really simple. It's just a graphic
Navigate
for the
level
logo.
2 visited same page.
And
Andrew has left the meeting.
I mean, that's kind of, you don't necessarily have to put alt text for your logo. It's not a requirement of WCAG, but it is helpful to people. If you want them to know, and it's at the top of your page, it's better than hearing graphic or slash right at the top of your page, because they might be trying to make sure they're in the right place by you know, hitting the arrow key or whatever, and having it actually with alt text is helpful. So this is an example of a graphic with good alt text. It just says exactly what the page is.
Same page link. Skip to main content. Heading level. Same page link. Skip to main content. Web aim. Web accessibility in mind. Graphic visited. Same page link. Heading level 2.
Web accessibility in mind, and then it goes ahead and tells me about the visited skip link. So that's fine. And there are no other
Navigation
graphics on
landmark.
this.
Main
Well,
navigation.
there is a
Heading level 2.
navigation landmark graphic.
Main landmark. We have web accessibility in mind. Heading level 1. Accessibility training. Link heading level 2.
Let's see.
No
That's
next
it.
graphic.
There's no more graphics on this page. So I'm going to go to the next
Presentation notes.txt.
thing. There are things like I mentioned with the little black boxes that you would not want alt text for, that are just decorative images. So I have to check for that by going to each image with my hotkey, shortcut key, whatever. It's G in NVDA. It's actually the same key in JAWS, and I then can see, you know, is there any alt text there, or does it say placeholder filler, or does it say something that's totally nonsensical? And we might see a couple of examples of those here on the HEB
Is it
page
present?
in a second.
Check for alt text. 3:43 p.m.
Okay,
text editor.
so
Is it present?
I don't want us to run out of time.
Check for alt text, which is text that describes the images and graphics on the page.
So
Is it
I'm
present?
gonna move on.
Check for alt text, which is text that describes. Is it present? Right description. Not for decor. Keep in mind AI descriptions not necessarily most descriptive or accurate. Blank. Demo. When you load page, it will be in browse mode. Demo navigating graphics and headings. Headings should be semantic and sequential.
Okay, so one of the things we were talking about is headings. Headings should be as much as possible there. First of all, there should be at least one heading on the page so the person can get oriented. Screen readers rely on headings for structure. They should be used for structure, not style. I mentioned that at the beginning, so I'm not going to go any further on that. They are important. They help a screen reader user get oriented. They've been around forever, so your older screen reader users are going to know about them, and your newer screen reader users are going to know about them. Landmarks haven't always been available to us, but they are helpful when they're available. But I wouldn't rely on them in place of screen reader, in place of headings. As a matter of fact, I'd say don't. Just don't. They need to be sequential whenever possible. They should be sequential. Otherwise, the page makes no sense. Headings should not be based on style. And I know you're going to hate me for saying that over and over, but I see it all the time.
Forms have a label that's.
All right.
Headings should be semantic and sequential. Forms have a label that's bound to the element / form field.
That. So I'm going to look at the HEB website now, because I think we're going to get a little more complex.
Errors should be spoken and give proper feedback. Web aim.
We're
web
going to try to see some
web aim. Web accessibility in mind. Google Chrome window. Enter your zip code dialog.
Did I have a question?
Well, we've got a couple of questions that some of which we'll hit a little bit later, but one question was about from the form fields. If there's suggested text in there, will that be read aloud by the screen reader?
It depends. Okay, so it can be read aloud. I personally don't like placeholder text. I know some people really do. I do not. But it can be read aloud. It all depends on how it's coded. It's not without getting into the nitty gritty of things, I would say the answer is yes, it can be read aloud. That's a simple answer. I hope that helps.
Okay. Yeah, it just needs to be coded correctly and tested. Can a blind auditor test for color contrast issues without sighted assistance?
Not really, to be honest. No, not effectively. There are ways to get the screen reader to tell you colors, but they're not real accurate. You can get the RBG code sometimes, but the best way is if you're working with the dev team, the only way for you to test the color contrast is not really through testing, it's through saying to the designer, who's also on the team, do you have your design sheets with the color contrast codes? then you can take those codes and go look them all up. There's a website where you can look up RBG codes. Once you have those codes, then you could compare them probably better than any sighted person with a tool, because you have the actual numbers from the designer, but it takes a lot more time. So in the way that you're thinking, not really, unfortunately. Screen
Thank you,
reader's just
Janine.
not good enough on that yet.
Zip code star edit focus required blank.
Okay, I'm in a zip code field here.
Dialog. Clickable
And
dialog. Enter
this
your zip.
is actually the bank page.
Dialog. Heading level 4. Select a store.
Oh, no, it's not.
List with 13 items. Browse. Button.
All right.
Jovi Smart Shop low prices and quality groceries. Google. Close button.
We got
List with
some
13 items.
pop up here.
Close button. List with 13 items. Browse. Out of list heading level 4. No next edit field. Button close. List with 13 items. FM 1960 Smart Shop. Out of list. List with 13. Out of list button close.
I'm just going to
Jovi Smart
close
Shop
it
low
because
price.
I have no
Jovi
idea
Smart
why
Shop low
it's
prices.
on that.
Clickable banner landmark button. Department. Visited same page link graphic Jovi's logo. Search products edit.
It took me to
Jovi Smart Shop low prices and quality groceries. Google Chrome.
the Jody Smart Shop and la 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 la.
Browsing Get Katie Smart Shop. List with 5 items. Lists link focus linked. Jim Bauer has left the meeting alert. Link. Buy again. Link. Lists.
All
Out of
right.
list visited same page link graphic Jovi's logo. Button. Link.
I don't know why it keeps taking me
List
to
link focus link.
this.
Button search. Search products edit. Search products edit blank.
All right, now we've got the search products edit. So I'm going to type in, I don't know.
S-O-U-P. Christopher Cheo has left the meeting. Search products edit focused. Soup. Clear search input button.
I can clear the input. I'm tabbing now. I'm in what's called edit mode.
Menu focused.
Oh, and it just said menu focus. Okay, what kind of menu? I have no clue. I have no idea.
Soup region. Soup.
Oh, now I find
Onion
out
soup mix region. Onion soup mix region.
but I'm still in edit mode.
Onion soup mix region. Onion soup mix.
Onion soup
Chicken
mix.
noodle soup region.
Chicken
Cream of
noodle
mushroom soup region. Cream of mushroom soup. Onion soup region. Onion soup.
I don't want onion
Soup region.
soup.
Soup. Jovi's logo graphic visited same page link.
Anyway, you get the point. It didn't really tell me what kind of menu I was
logo
in,
graphic visit
so I
same page
had
link.
to go and look around down
Jovi Smart Shop low prices and quality growth.
That's not a good user experience at all.
Jovi Smart Shop low departments. Button. Weekly ad. Link. Search button.
Now I'm just tabbing departments, weekly ads, la 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 la.
Main landmark. Delicious to go. Heading level 2.
So there's
Banner
a
landmark
heading,
visit same page.
there's
Main
a
landmark.
heading level
Delicious
1 on this
heading level 2
page. Oh no, they start out with a heading level 2.
Search button focused.
And
hey,
it's
Janine,
on.
Just so you're aware, you're on you're not on HEB's page. You are on.
Yeah, it's Jody Smart. It's one of their affiliates.
Okay.
It's their affiliate store.
Search button focused.
If
link.
I go back
to link graphic product image of Jovi's $600 link button. Link graphic. Web aim. Web access. Certificate of deposit. View CD. Jovi Smart Shop low prices and quality grocery.
Let me go
presentation
over here
notes. Text. Notepad row 1 column 2.
Get over there to just the HEB
text editor edit focus multi-line error.
Yeah, I realized it went in there. I don't know why it opened.
Forms have a label that's bound. Errors should be spoken and give proper feedback.
It just felt like it.
Form fields should be Jovi Smart Shop low prices. Screen sharing meeting control tools and techniques for blind accessibility. Auditor. Document content edit multi-line. New line. Heading to screen readers. NVDA, JAWS, voice, new line. Heading to what is a screen visually impaired, braille, instead of a mouse, new line. Heading 3 key function, reads content, adapt, length, new line. Heading to browsers. Chrome browser by Google. Microsoft Edge, new line. Heading to pages reviewed, web aim HTTP, Bastrop HEB plus. Bastrop. HEB plus. Exclamation mark. HTTPS. HTTPS. Source selected. Equal selected. Google's amp, equal selected. Organic select, ampersand select, UTM campaign, equal selected. G, ampersand, UTM content, equal selected. 582C, new line selected. New line unselected. Copied selection to clipboard. Presentation notes.txt. Presentation. Tools and techniques. Jovi Smart Shop low prices and Jovi Smart Shop low. Jovi Smart Shop low.
So we're going to force it back to HEB's main site.
Bastrop HEB.
If you look way down at the bottom of the page, the Jody's is affiliated store, and I don't know why I opened it up their thing, but
Bastrop HEB plus.
So anyway, we're back to Bastrop HEB plus. That's where I shop.
Banner landmark HEB homepage link.
So this is like real life, guys.
HEB homepage link focus.
Okay, so we're on the
search
homepage.
HEB.com combo box expanded has autocomplete editable search blank.
Now we've got an edit combo box, so that tells me that it's gonna. If I type in soup here again, it's gonna give me a list of choices. Apparently.
Submit search button. In-store app.
But I didn't
reset
see
button.
any.
Search HEB.com combo box list. Soup 1 of 10.
There we go.
Soup dumplings 2 of 10.
Soup dumplings, that worked well. So they did this
Soup 1 of 10.
very well.
Onion soup mix 10 of 10.
So as you could see, after I typed in soup, below came a bunch of choices, then I could just down arrow. So those are things I would want to check as a blind
Noel has left the meeting.
auditor, that actually that function that
Bob's
it
iPhone has
told me that it was a combo box, that it would work, and it did.
Reset button. Submit search button.
I could submit the search.
In-store app.
I'm not
Button.
going
Shopping
to.
at Bastrop HEB. Go to cart page. Link. Main navigation link. Go to shopping
Let's
at
see.
Bastrop.
I'm
In-store
going
app.
to pick one
Button.
of these soups.
Submit search button. Reset button. Search HEB.com combo box expanded. List. Soup 1 of 10. Soup dumplings 2 of 10. Soup kit 3 of 10. Soup mix 4 of 10. Soup vegetables 5 of 10. Soup mix 4. Search HEB.com. Unknown defunct. Soupmixhead.com document focus read only. Clickable banner landmark.
I'm going to try to get through
Search
the
HEB.com combo
checkout
box expanded
process
has
real
autocomplete.
quick if I can
Search HEB.com combo box focus.
get through
Reset
this
button.
quick enough.
Submit search button. In-store app. Submit search button. Soupmixhead.com. Soupmixhead.com document focus read only.
So now we're on the
Clickable
soup
main landmark.
mix.
Soup mix. Heading level 1.
Oh, good. The heading level 1 worked, and it took me to soup mix. That makes me so happy.
Filter by.
I can
Same page
filter
link.
by.
Product filters list with 5 items.
And
list
I'm
with 3
just
items link.
down
Deli and prepared
arrowing
food.
here, but you could.
Out of list. Category. Out of list same page link.
I'm
Skip to
going
product
to
grid.
try to. It says skipped product
Soupmixhead.com
grid.
document
Let's
focus
see
read
if
only
that
filter by.
works.
Same page link. Skip to product grid. 44 results.
Oh, good. 44 results.
Soupmixhead.com document focus read only. Sort by. Combo box collapse best match. Button. Link HEB beefy onion recipe soup and dip mix 2 CT 1.
There we go. HEB onion soup mix. I want to see about
Button.
that.
Add to button. Button. Link HEB beefy onion add to cart. Button.
I can add to cart. Now I'm tabbing.
Add HEB frozen vegetable
I
soup mix
could
to list.
down
Add to
arrow
cart.
as well. It
Button.
did work if I wanted to read the details before I added
HEB
it.
beefy onion recipe soup and dip mix. Add to cart. Button.
So I'm going to add that to
My
my
HEB account
cart.
document. Email edit focus email blank.
Now, it did something it triggered a pop-up or a dialogue.
My HEB account, Google Chrome.
But it says, my HEB account, Google Chrome. So I have no idea. It triggered this thing, which I'm pretty sure is a pop-up, but whatever. It triggered it and it put me in edit mode. I know I need to type something. It did tell me to put in my email address because it wants me to log in.
Continue. Button. Email edit email.
I suspect.
Heading level 1. Login.
Yep, but it did not announce that heading level when it triggered this. It didn't tell me. That would have been helpful. And that might be a situation where ARIA would have been useful. Or to programmatically associate that heading level 1 as well as email, but that might be confusing with the form field, but you could do it. So just saying, there's different ways to go about it, but it would have been helpful to know where the heck I went suddenly.
Email edit email blank.
I'm just going to go ahead and put my email in here. I've had the same email forever, so 99% of the world already knows it.
Continue. Button.
And then it says continue. And I continued.
My HEB account document focus read copyright clickable blank copyright mainline. I agree to the HEB.
It wants me to agree to their terms and conditions.
My HEB account.
And I'm not going to put my password in here.
Choose your own list item focus. My HEB account document. Check. Button. Forgot your password. Terms and conditions. Privacy policy. Submit. Back. Button.
I'm going to go back.
My HEB account document focus read only. Soupmixhead.com. Shopping at Bastrop HEB. Add HEB onion. HEB. Add to cart. Add Lipton recipe secret soup and dip mix beefy onion. Add to cart.
Let me see if it'll add this to the cart without.
My HEB account document.
Continue. I don't think it's going to let me do it without logging
Misty Crook.
in.
Create one. Link.
Oh, create one. We'll pretend.
Frame clickable. Document focus read only. Widget containing checkbox. Terms of service. Opens in. accounts.head.com/interaction/q04alm.jc-q8xm8/ document.
Now we're in a widget.
Policy. Opens in a new tab.
And it did tell me it was a widget.
Jenny Chen has left the meeting alert.
Not typical. I'm glad that it
document
told
focus
me.
read only. Out. Pitash Amanda has left the meeting blank. Accounts.head.com additional widget containing checkbox for HCAPTCHA security challenge frame clickable checkbox not checked submenu I am human. Out of frame. Widget containing checkbox for HCAPTCHA security challenge frame clickable I am human. Select in order to trigger the.
So
I am human is not checked. You are verified.
Selecting
I am human is not checked.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that. I did it yesterday when
My
I was
HEB
testing
account document
the
focus
site.
read only. Main landmark. Already have an account. Link head. First name edit first name blank.
So
Bob L has left the meeting alert.
I'm just gonna put J
Black PT has
for
left
the
the meeting
first
alert.
name.
Elizabeth Neal has left the meeting alert. Mobile number edit. Email edit. Email blank.
Put
JL
JL
at
at
GMAIL.
GMAIL.
Mobile
And
number edit. Mobile
I'm
number blank.
intentionally making mistakes here, y'all.
1 2 5 5 5 0 0 0 0. Terms and conditions. Privacy policy. Create account. Button.
And then I'm going to pick create account and see what happens. La-di-da, I created account, but I don't hear anything. I wonder why.
I agree to the HEB.
So this is a perfect example
button. Create
of
copyright
where
2025.
you're filling out a form. You don't know that you messed up. You submit the form. You still don't know you messed up. You don't know if you got it right. You don't know if you got it wrong. You don't know if you got it at all.
First name.
And I
Your
still
last name must be at least one character.
Oh, I can find it by arrowing down after I picked create account. It says
first name. Your last name must be at least one character.
Your last name must be at least one character, but it could have given me that information before I created the account, so I didn't have to come back. Or it could have at least announced when it came back here or flashed them up that the errors existed. It didn't give me anything. That's a fail. Just flat out fail.
Wendy.
So that's a really important thing to remember when you're creating your forms, to test them with the screen reader and make sure the screen reader knows if they need a 5-digit zip code or 9-digit zip code, they have that info. If it has to be a certain format, if they miss the format, they know before they have to submit, or at least once they submit, they get the error message. You don't just mark with red lines or red arrows or whatever they do, like red things that mean nothing to the screen reader user. Make sure it tells them what the problem is. All right. I'm going to try, since we're here, to go, let's see, how much time
3:58 p.m.
We're almost out of time. So I'll tell you how I do the toolbar, the developer toolbar. And if you want to try it, feel free, but it takes a lot of practice, I'll tell you. So you can use two things. One is inspect code, and I do use it. The other is F12.
DevTool alert. DevTools is doc to write. DevTools document.
DevTools is
Recorder panel
doc to
property page.
write.
Recorder panel property page focused. Create recording button. Main customize and control DevTools button. Settings. Amanda has left the meeting. Open console to view button.
Open console.
Main toolbar navigation landmark more tabs menu button collapsed submenu. Drawer shown. Tool drawer complementary landmark what's new panel property page what's new. See all new features. See past highlights from drawer hidden. Main toolbar navigate toolbar. Open console to view button. Drawer shown. Tool drawer complementary landmark. Console panel property page. My HEB account document. DevTools document. Blank. Tool drawer complementary landmark. Tree code evaluation as user action checkbox check treat evaluation as user activation. Group similar messages in console checkbox check group similar message. Autocomplete from history checkbox. Selected drawer hidden.
So I think the easiest way is to go
My HEB account document.
This is why I say it depends on what console you have open last. It makes it hard.
DevTool alert. Recorder panel property page focused. Combo box unavailable collapse no recordings. Button import recording. Button unavailable delete recording. Button unavailable continue. Button unavailable delete. Create recording button. Import send feedback drawer hidden. Show shortcuts button. Learn more. Link https://developer.chrome.com/doc/devtools/recorder. Create recording button. Web aim. Web accessibility in mind document. Heading certificate of deposit. View CD rates edit. DevTools document. Button. Web aim. WebEx. Certificate of deposit. DevTools document. Button.
Okay, so we're back in the DevTools document.
My HEB account document. Heading level 2 link.
I'm going to do it this way.
First name Hattie go she/her has left the meeting alert.
Source.
Emoji win. Inspect. Get image description. Inspect. My HEB account document. First name edit. J. DOM. Level 10 less input auto.
You get your DOM
less input autocomplete equals given name class equals form control. Enable flex mode toggle button not pressed. Anna Gonzalez. She disable flex. Enable flex mode toggle button not pressed. Enable flex mode toggle button not pressed. Disable flex mode. Enable flex mode toggle button. Enable flex mode. Enable grid mode toggle button not pressed. Enable flex mode page DOM tree view. Jen L has left the meeting. Level 9 less.
This is where you would go to your accessibility tree view.
Enable flex mode toggle button not pressed. Enable flex mode toggle button not pressed. Disable flex mode. Enable flex mode. Less label class equals false. Enable flex mode toggle button not pressed. Page DOM tree view clickable level 1. Page DOM tree view clickable level 1.
And then you can just go using your arrow keys down. And this is where I often use the screen tool that I showed you with NVDA to capture. So if I want to copy code
Less
from
slash DIV greater
somewhere,
3 of 3 level 9. Page DOM tree view clickable
so
clickable
you
level 1.
just
Less
keep,
doc type HTML.
whenever you hear a level, you keep hitting your arrow keys to either close the level or open the level. And then if
Sarai
you
honest
get
to
as
go.
far as you go, you just hit down arrow. So that's how you get to the DOM and the code. And then you can tab through and find the accessibility tree and look at, you activate that, and then you can look at that here. So that's a quickie on that, like real quickie. But it is a little tricky to navigate with a screen reader. And I
Drawer
don't
hidden.
do it. That's not, manual testing is my priority. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to sit and look at code all day, really. I get it when I need to do reports.
Drawer shown.
All right.
My HEB account document.
All right, Mark, we're done.
Fair.
And
We got a
questions.
few questions. Most of them are about navigation that we have left. Uh, so you've gone through the access and the accessibility tree briefly here. Um, eh, this one I think is pretty going to take you some time. They're asking about tips for navigating the devs tool area with NVDA, which is what you kind of just did a quick highlight on here.
You basically have to use F6 to move between the consoles, F12 to get in there and open it up, or Control Shift I. It's the other hotkey you can use. And then you tab around in the area. Now, once you're in the DOM, like I was just a minute ago, reading the actual code, you use your up and down arrows and your left and right. And that's where I use um, the tool for capturing the screen that I mentioned earlier with NVDA. It's under the NVDA menu under tools. Because I can't seem to figure out a good way to copy and paste from that. So if I want a piece of code from there to put in a report, I let the screen capture grab it. All right. So that's as best I can give on that quickly.
There was also a question about if insert F7 doesn't work on my laptop, do I need to be in a different mode?
I would say so. I've not heard of that problem. However, wait, yes, you're on a laptop. If your NVDA key is set to caps lock because you've got your keyboard set to laptop, I guess I should have started by saying with all that at the beginning, you can set your keyboard layout to laptop or desktop. It doesn't matter what kind of keyboard you have. You can just tell it what you want in the screen reader preferences. And when you set it to desktop, it automatically pick insert as your NVDA key. If you set it to laptop, it's going to automatically pick caps lock. Now you can change that. You don't have to leave it the way it sets it, but that's what it'll do by default. So caps lock F7 is probably what you're going to use if insert is not working. That's my guess.
And then the last question is about some more sessions like this, observing other screen readers, asking questions in real time, and if there's some of that. So what we will do is we will follow up in our after this recording comes out and see if we can find some resources like that to work with that you can continue your exploration of this usage
Yeah,
here.
I
So
barely
thank you.
touched the surface, so I don't blame you guys for asking. Thank you guys
Adam
so
Robert has
much for listening to me. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Janine. I was just going to tell everybody what's coming up next in November. And November 20th, we're going to have an update on WCAG 3.0, and that will be with Rachelle Montgomery, who is actively involved with all of that. We would appreciate you giving feedback on this session. This particular session actually came up because in previous feedback, somebody asked for it. So your feedback is very useful to us. I will come back to this slide in a moment. Coming up in May of 2026 is our John Slayton Access U. That's the conference I was telling you about a little bit earlier before we started today. It's May 11 through 14. It is the premier hands-on, in-depth digital accessibility training that you need to have if you're in this world. You can find out more at nobility.org/accessu. It is a hybrid event, so it will be online and in person. If you'd like to stay connected with us, sign up for our newsletter at nobility.org/subscribe. Follow us on social media at Nobility, or email us at events@nobility.org. And I'll leave you with this QR code and nobility.org/BADA survey. That's BADA survey, which will get you to the survey for us. We truly appreciate your time. We'll be back again next month with some more fun digital accessibility. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.